Morning and welcome to Leza Live on the News 103.5 KYCA. This is Carol Chamberlain. Gosh, it's going to be one of those days. This is Carol Chamberlain in for the lovely Leza Dandos.
If you can't say your own name, we're in for a heck of a show.
Actually, I think we are in for a heck of a show. We were talking about that just earlier.
I mean, I know Drew is real spicy today, so we'll see how that goes.
He is real spicy. He said something about hitting triple digits before 5 a.m. What the heck does that mean, Drew?
I cannot confirm or deny, and for any, hopefully Chief Amy Bonnie's not listening.
Amy Bonnie would forgive you for just
No,
having
she
a
wouldn't.
little fun.
No, she wouldn't.
Not
Okay.
Drew. No way.
No.
Drew,
But anyway, we just had fun. It's just one of those things that happens.
I absolutely understand. And just so the listening audience understands, that Ducati parked out in the parking lot that's red and white and very streamlined looks like it could go 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Pretty close.
Oh, well, hello.
Just before 5, not after.
That's exactly right. Too many people on the street after.
Yeah, it just happened.
So, Matt Henshaw,
What did I do, Carol Chamberlain?
how are you?
Oh, incredible as always.
You said my name better than I.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
All right.
So, you were on a business call when I walked in this morning.
Sure, I was trying.
You always try, and you told me you always work. I am
And-
recommending a vacation for you.
Everybody says that, but you got to have the cheddar to go on vacation.
Cheddar, are you a mouse?
If that's what other companies and things accept, yes.
I have never heard it referred to as that.
Never heard-
Cheese.
Yeah, cheese.
Oh, no.
Cheese.
I got the cheese. Drew's giving me the fingers.
Right. It's about the monies.
I gotcha. Well, so today is Juneteenth.
Yes.
It's now an official federal holiday. It comes as a surprise because it's a Thursday.
Wait, why are we working then?
Well, because we're special. We are here to honor others.
Like my mommy. My mom always told me I was special.
Yeah, but she didn't mean it that way.
She said
She didn't mean
I
it,
know your
period.
mother. She didn't mean it that way.
she said that's why I rode the special bus.
I'm just not going to go there this morning.
It was the little one.
Okay. Juneteenth marks the end of slavery in the United States. It's been known as Freedom Day for a while. It happens, of course, on June the 19th. And it actually marks a day in 1865 when General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, and announced that enslaved people were free. But I think it was a little late.
Yes, it was.
It's Texas. I've got a couple of things to talk about Texas, and I can do it because I am from there. Anyway, just so our listening audience knows, all federal offices are closed today. State offices are closed today. You're not going to get any mail.
And the
But-
banks are closed.
The banks are closed, that's right. But you will be getting U.S. and FedEx delivery. So thank you, UPS and FedEx.
Okay.
All righty. Today is also the last day of spring. Now, I'm surprised by this because I thought that the equinox happened on the 21st, but they're saying that today's the last full day of spring and that actually summer comes in at like 10:23 tomorrow night. Surprising to me, so I'm going to turn it to you, Drew, to say, in the first place, it's too hot for spring to be ending. So I'd like to ask you what we're going to look like later today. And did you know that spring ended at 10 o'clock at night?
No, that I didn't know. I usually just go by the date. You know,
Me too.
tomorrow's Friday, first day of summer. That works for me. I don't really need to be that exact of when it is.
But isn't it really the 21st and not the 20th? I'm pretty sure.
Well, I believe it, like they said, it ends on the 20th.
Oh, I
So,
gotcha. I gotcha.
We go. But I will tell you this.
Uh-huh.
Yesterday, we didn't set a record, but it was the hottest day of the year so far. We were 98 degrees at the airport yesterday.
Yes, and since I
Yes.
live there, I can out by there. I can
was
tell you
hot.
that it was actually hot.
Yeah.
I've gotten to where I go out and walk up and down one of the holes that we live on at Antelope Hills Golf Course, and it was just too hot to do that yesterday.
Yeah. Well, we have a heat warning, so there's a reason for it, and we're in stage 1 fire alert, so that's all good. But again, it's going to be hot again today. We're looking at 97. Hopefully tomorrow it'll cool down a little bit, maybe 5 degrees, and then it'll start a cooling trend. But hopefully, we need the heat to get the rain, and that's what I'm hoping for.
Oh, well, I guess I'm hoping for that too, but 5 degrees less sounds good, so I will absolutely go for that. All my life, Ken Mabrak, my husband, has told me that June is the hottest month. And this June, I could say I really believe him now.
Yeah.
I really believe him.
Well, you growing up in Texas, especially if you were in Waxahachie, I know you know what heat and humidity is.
I know what heat and humidity and that the sweat rolling down the back of your
Absolutely.
neck. I know that, and which just greases it up for the mosquitoes to bite you. Oh, I do remember those days.
Oh, yeah. But, I still miss Texas. I lived there for 5 years, and it was great.
I've forgotten where you lived in Texas.
North Richland Hills, suburb of the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Oh, you were a
Yeah.
neighbor.
Yeah. Originally, I first moved into Euless, right by the airport, because that's where the company I was working for.
But
And then I moved out about 10 miles northwest
by DFW or by Love Field?
by DFW.
Oh, that's a busy place.
Yeah, and then brain
He's-
cramp.
I understand that one.
Grapevine. That's where I ended up.
Ah,
Grapevine, Texas.
Actually, Grapevine's a nice spot.
Yeah. So
So I have a piece that I read in the Daily Courier this morning about a Prescott native, Chase Hinton, who executive produced an action comedy that opens at Harkins Theater today called Bride Hard. So I did not know that we had a producer star from Hollywood who has a movie opening today that went to Prescott High School.
Matt, what do you say to that? Did you know this guy?
I'm not personally, no. I know the name though, but yeah, hasn't done a whole lot.
Wait a minute. He has a movie
looked it
coming
up.
out today.
So he's the executive producer on Bride Hard. He co-produced something called Some Other Woman. He produced IRL, and then that's about it.
Well, the film that's opening today stars Rebel Wilson, and apparently in 2020 at Cannes, it won the movie that had the most views. So it looks like it's going to be pretty good.
It looks like he did a bunch of television acting in the 2010, 2012, 2014.
Well,
So
let me just say, hats
he
off.
does it all.
He does, and hats off to a hometown boy named Chase Hinton. We will all have to watch Bride Hard and think about our hometown boy.
Yeah, I'll have
So-
to.
What's
I'll have
that
to
movie
figure
going to
this
be
out.
about?
It's an action comedy movie. So I'm not a real action comedy person, but it's
Like Die Hard?
Wilson finds as a secret agent turned maid of honor who finds herself in the middle of a hostage situation during the wedding.
Wilson's funny. That
I
oughta work.
can hear the chuckles now. So let's all go support our hometown boy, Chase Hinton. I guess he's no boy anymore. He's a man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a little more research on this because I might have run across him when I was working for said publication you were referring to.
I said publication. So
So-
there's a huge Hollywood auction coming up. So you need to get your pocketbook out, Matt Henshaw.
I can't go on vacation. How am I going to buy anything from Hollywood?
So what do you get the movie fan who has everything, including loads of money? Harry Potter glasses or his wand, maybe Captain America's shield. Today in LA, Julian's Auctions is selling some impressive props, including those and a few others like the Barbie costumes that Margot Robbie wore in the movie, or a bunch of cool stuff from the sets of Stranger Things. So, if you could have any piece of Hollywood memorabilia and money was no object, Matt, what would you buy?
All of Star Wars?
I was going to say a Darth Vader costume.
No, not a Darth Vader costume, but probably anything else or just about everything else.
Just about everything.
If I could only have one thing, then I would go with one of the original models they used for one of the ships, like a Star Destroyer or the Executor, or of course the dream is a working lightsaber. A
That
real
would be a
lightsaber, not a prop, a real one.
That would be a dream come true, I'd say.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That's
So-
interesting.
What would you take, Drew?
Oh, that'd be pretty simple for me.
And
A motorcycle of some kind.
No. I would want the original Batmobile and the Monkey Mobile.
oh, the Batmobile is a cool
The
thing.
Batmobile and the Monkey Mobile. It's all I got unlimited funds. I can have two cars.
Well, which Batmobile? The Adam
The-
West one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it'd
All right.
have to be the Adam West
Oh
one.
yeah, dude.
No way.
Why?
Michael Keaton.
What did he have?
You get a Batmobile.
Well, but I mean, what was it based on?
But Alex Barris didn't build it.
That's
Oh,
true.
there you go. So, what was the original one made from? Was it a Pontiac or a?
The Pontiac was the Monkey Mobile,
Oh,
which
Yeah, it
they
was a
put a
GTO.
blown motor in.
Uh-huh.
And if I'm not mistaken, it was I want to say it was a Buick LeSabre chassis that they started on the Batmobile, or an Olds chassis, which was almost the same at the time.
I gotcha. All righty. Okay. I think that mine's much smaller than that. I would probably get Dorothy's red sparkly shoes because I'm a shoe person, and I would make that the centerpiece for my shoe collection.
You'd have to fight the Smithsonian for that one.
Yeah.
I think she had more than one.
Yeah, but maybe not. I don't know, because I know the Smithsonian has them, and they're pretty tattered and beat up. And
Well, yeah, she clicked them a lot of times. I'm sure that she clicked them.
I know that there's in Kansas they have the museum there, and supposedly there was a couple sets of shoes. Somebody broke in and stole them, and they finally arrested the guy and got the shoes back. But supposedly, I think there's 2 or 3 pairs.
Right.
So
Right. And see, it would just be the perfect thing for my closet. in the middle
You're
of
gonna
my
hide them in the closet?
Well, a lot of people come in and out of my closet. That's
No
only
comment.
a joke.
No comment, Carol.
That's a joke.
Okay. It's
Okay.
just a joke, eh?
So, I'm going to tell you a really good story. So, there was a plastic lid that was removed from a bear's neck after two years. Apparently, a poor black bear in Michigan had a giant barrel lid stuck on his neck. And they first saw this bear in 2023 walking around with this massive barrel on his neck. It took them 2 years to be able to tranquilize him and remove this from him. Now, I guess he was able to eat, but can you imagine how it must have been to sleep? He must have had to sleep sitting up.
Poor Yogi.
Yeah.
Poor Yogi. Well, at least he could put his hat on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because, he always had a tie on and he was always eating out of the trash cans and picnic baskets and.
Oh, that's true. How do you get out of a picnic basket with a big thing on your neck?
You don't.
Oh, there
It'd
you
be
have
almost like the cone of shame for your dog.
it. He would, yes, he would not be able to reach himself in many ways.
Yes.
Okay, so speaking of Texas, there is a story about an invasion of some toxic worms, and I would say this could only happen in Texas. Those aren't weird new snakes popping up all over the country. It's the invasion of the hammerhead worm. Anybody ever heard of a hammerhead worm before?
No, just shark.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But these are crawling through the dirt. They're not swimming through the ocean. Anyway, they usually hide out underground eating other worms, but soaking rainstorms have made the foot-long invasive critters from Asia surface, especially in Texas where they're everywhere. They secrete a toxin that'll give you a nasty rash. And, you can't kill them because if you cut them in two, it just makes twice as many of them because they are worms. I wonder if they grow another hammerhead if you cut them in two.
It's interesting.
Drew should know all this. I mean, this is his world,
I'm looking it up.
Droogle is Googling. But anyway, apparently the only way that you could kill them is to freeze them for at least 2 days or brine them in salt and vinegar. And who has the time? It's not who has the time to do that. How do you have the capacity to reach that many worms if it's an invasion?
Speechless.
I'm sort of speechless too. Can you imagine going to step down on something and you squish into a foot-long worm? Ooh. Anyway. Okay.
All right. Well, you asked the question. It's actually here. What happens if you cut the head off of it? It grows. It says it grows back.
Grows another hammer.
So if you cut it in half, you get two.
2 hammerheads.
2 hammerheads.
I'm really impressed by that.
So
There's a reason why it's on the planet. God only knows why, but
Well, it's to eat other worms, but that's bad because worms are good creatures. So
for the dirt and the soil for the farms, and
exactly. And my rose garden.
and your rose garden, of course.
There you have it. Okay, so 7 men have been charged in the biggest jewelry heist in United States history. 7 men in California were accused of stealing 24 bags of jewelry from a Brinks truck that was stopped at a gas station back in 2022 while the driver was sleeping. Now, if I had hired a driver for a Brinks truck to really guard 24 bags of jewelry, which included Rolex watches, emeralds, and diamond earrings, I don't think I'd want him sleeping on the job. But that theft was worth about $100 million.
yeah, you probably shouldn't hire the narcoleptic security guard. Yeah.
I think not. And just sleeping in a gas station. Anyway, officials say they can be tied to at least a dozen other truck thefts. Must have taken them a while to catch him. If convicted, sounds like they will be. They face 15 to 20 years in prison. Actually, I would have thought it was longer than that, but hey, justice system. So,
Well,
with
are we sure it was 7 men? It wasn't like 6 guys and Lisa?
oh,
You know, she might go after jewelry.
she might
that
go
might work for
after
her.
jewelry.
She does like her jewelry. That's
Yes,
for sure.
she does.
From
Wasn't
Artful
she
Eye.
on vacation in California in 22 as well? Yeah, I think so.
We should ask her about that when she gets back. Anyway,
And she's on vacation again. What a coincidence.
Yes.
it is a coincidence. We'll have to check for robberies, but we'll be right back after this. Good morning, and welcome to Leza Live on the News 103.5 KYCA. This is Carol Chamberlain in for Leza Dandos, who is, do you think she's awake yet?
Probably not. No, because she was sending me pictures last night
Oh.
of her on the beach with wine.
Oh, well.
And she's like, look, first pictures of the ocean. And there's a big bottle of wine and some glasses. And, oh, yeah, she's tying one on.
Which means she's sleeping in today. So I would like to welcome Lisa Sahady, the Regional Director of the Arizona Community Foundation of Yavapai County. I nearly tripped over that. How are you doing, Lisa?
I'm doing well, Carol.
So, full disclosure, Lisa took over my spot when I retired from ACF of Yavapai County and has done a remarkable job keeping that the way we started.
Well, I had a great mentor,
Well, I'm happy to hear that.
And who was that?
Carol Chamberlain.
Oh.
See, I know how to say her name.
Even if I don't. Anyway, I am anxious for people to understand more about community foundations because when I was there, I recognized how little knowledge there is about community foundations. So, what is ACF of Yavapai County?
So, ACF, the Community Foundation, we're an endowment organization. That's at the heart of anything we do. We are looking to build permanent endowments to benefit community, whether that is Yavapai County or the state of Arizona or spreading out across the country. Because as we know, a lot of people love to move into Arizona.
Yes,
But they remember their neighborhoods, they remember their alma maters, whatever it might be. But ultimately, a community foundation is an endowment organization building up permanent funds to benefit community.
See, I think it's really interesting because when you look at some in fact, most organizations, what they have to do every year is start from scratch and raise money in order to meet mission. But an endowment organization actually already has that fund established, and then that can make the money to take care of
Right.
mission.
Right, exactly. And I say this just about to everyone. Yavapai County is a very generous community.
Yes.
Yavapai County will take care of Yavapai County before taking care of anybody else, which I think is fantastic. We have some amazing donors that have set up permanent endowments for organizations, for our local organizations. And the great thing for them, for those organizations, is that they can now budget that. When they're making out their budgets for the next fiscal year, they know X amount of money is going to come out of this fund because they've received it year over year over year.
So, can you give me an example of somebody who left a fund in their name for the good of an organization? Tell us what you mean by that.
So one of your favorite stories of Wanda McCall and Jerry
Smith.
Because there's Norma is in Jerry. It's Norma Jerry Smith. And that's where I was
Right.
getting a little mixed up in the head. But Wanda and Jerry moved to Arizona from Texas.
Correct.
I think it's one of the reasons it's one of Carol's favorite stories. They had already remembered their community in Texas. And so when they came to Prescott and fell in love, which it's so easy to do, to fall in love with our area, they wanted to do the same thing here. So they came to ACF of Yavapai County to set up that legacy gift through their attorney. Their attorney actually is like, this is where you need to go. I have to say, our attorneys, financial advisors are wonderful friends of ours. They continue to give us these types of referrals. So thank you very much.
I think that was Sal Ludi, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe you're correct. And they thought it was a great idea. They saw how easy it is to work with us on a legacy gift. And so when they passed, and correct me if I'm wrong, they passed fairly close to one another.
They did, but one of the neat stories I recall, if I'm getting them mixed up. No,
It's
they
okay.
did pass close to one another
Right.
and cared greatly about community.
Cared greatly. And both of them remembered 7, if I'm remembering correctly, 7 organizations in their estate plans. Some were the same, some were different. But organizations from their funds, the ones that are remembered together, they're receiving close to $90,000 a year from these two funds.
Oh my gosh. And $90,000 to nonprofit organizations in Prescott, Arizona makes a big, big difference
that's
to their
somebody's-
bottom line.
It's somebody's salary or 2 people's salary. Even the organizations that weren't remembered in both, they were only remembered in one or the other, they're still receiving over $40,000 a year.
It is amazing, and what that does is, for if it's Meals on Wheels, it provides meals for the hungry. It does so much good. We're going to come back right after this break and talk some more with Leza Sahady about what Community Foundation can do. See you in a minute. morning again. This is Carol Chamberlain on Leza Live, the News 103.5 KYCA, in for the lovely Leza Dandos. And my guest is Lisa Sahady. Right before the break, Lisa, we were talking about a designated fund which people leave in their estate plan through the community foundation to support causes that they believed in during their lifetime so they can fund them after, which I
Yes.
think is so good.
Yes.
What other kind of funds do you have at ACF of Yavapai County?
So the other we have many types of funds, and we will not go into all of them. But
Okay.
we do help nonprofits. We have 2 nonprofit funds to help nonprofits build their own sustainability and invest in themselves. And then we have what we call field of interest funds.
Oh, yes.
Field of interest funds are created by individuals or group of individuals who have a focus area that they like, such as it could be our environment, children's programming, music and art. Oh, our music and art fund could use so much more money.
Oh, yes, it could.
Social services, anything of that nature. But you leave the grant making decisions to ACF of Yavapai County. So instead of saying, I want my fund to go to this organization and this organization, instead you're saying, I want to help all the animal welfare organizations, and I trust ACF's grant making decision and our grant cycle process to make those decisions for me past, and more specifically, past my lifetime. Because quite frankly, we have no idea what's going to happen in 20 years.
Isn't that the truth?
And, recent history with our nonprofits have shown us that not all are going to survive.
Exactly. So, one of the things that I think is the neatest thing about the Community Foundation and getting to know not only what you do as the Community Foundation, but what the needs of the community as a whole are, is the grant cycle process.
Yes.
So, could you talk a little bit about that?
I can. And believe it or not, 7 grant panels this year.
Wow. 7 grant panels made up of how many people in each panel?
We have, 7 in that one. Okay. But we had 7 to 9 on each grant panel this year.
Okay, 9 of that. So that's 65 or so people that get to see the work of the community through the foundation. What do they do?
So our grant panels, and believe me, we could not do a grant cycle without our volunteer panelists. They are all volunteers throughout Yavapai County. I am so happy and proud to say that each panel had at least one member from the Verde Valley on it to
Good.
have that perspective. But Quad City, Reach, all of that. And so they review and score all of our applications that are assigned directly to them based on their panel through our online system. Then they come together for 2 meetings to discuss each of those applications and then make funding recommendations based off the amount of money we have to give out in any particular year.
Well, the really neat thing about this is you just don't put them out there cold, but you teach them how to
yes.
to process a
We do.
grant, with what kind of eyes to look at, the financial responsibility of an organization. Speak to that a little.
Right, we do. And I will say our application has changed a bit since you left us. And in all honesty, we're trying to make it easier for organizations to apply because nonprofits have so much going on. And if we can make it a smidge easier for them to apply for money, let's do that. But we are looking at their mission. We're looking at the program that they are asking for. And does that align with their mission? Do they have any duplication of services with anybody else? We're also looking at what are their expenses as an entire organization, and then really looking at that proposal budget. That budget is so important
No
for our
question.
grant panelists.
No question about that. And the things you learn and the whole process is just a beautiful thing. I can remember Ken Mabright, my husband, sat on a panel for the Children's Fund one year. And there was an application asking for carpet for the library. And as that was presented, so many of the other panel members are saying, carpet for a library, who needs that? We need to feed our children and this, that, and the other. But when you think about how a library is such a safe space and telling stories in that, you really do need carpeting to tamp down the noise.
All right.
It got funded. But one of the neat things is seeing the panel members talking about how important something
Yes.
can be and helping somebody else on that panel recognize another way of looking at things. So it's a great way to get involved with the community foundation.
It is a great way to get involved with us and start seeing not only how we make our grant making process, but the power of endowment. Because all of our field of interest funds are permanently endowed funds. And understanding so many of those were bequests.
Right.
And that's actually, it was a bequest that funded this 7th grant panel this year.
Oh my gosh, that is so. We're going to talk about that 7th grant panel when we get back right after this message. Hello again, and welcome back to Leza Live on the News 103.5 KYCA. I'm Carol Chamberlain in for Leza Dandos and visiting with Lisa Sahady. Lots of L's in my life this morning. So we were just talking before the break about field of interest funds and the competitive grant cycle.
Yeah.
So there are other types of funds as well. You have donor advised funds, which some people consider just a checkbook for charities.
It is. But donor advised funds are also a really great avenue for individuals who are thinking of opening their own private foundation. Don't do that. Don't, because then you have to deal with the IRS. Instead, open a donor advised fund. It can be spendable, and let ACF deal with the IRS.
Which I think is such a very smart thing to do. And it does not take a fortune to open a donor advised fund. How much does it take?
$25,000.
Which is certainly, as charitable people understand, that's not a lifetime gift. It's something that you can start, and then you can fund your nonprofits through the year with that fund, which I think is great.
And if you want to remain anonymous with your giving,
Oh.
donor advised fund is the way to go.
And I have seen in the past that donor advised funds start other funds as well, because as people get older and start thinking about leaving a legacy, they start with a donor advised fund and then move on to something else.
Yes.
You also have scholarship funds.
We are the largest independent scholarship provider in the state of Arizona. 150 opportunities through one online application.
Which I think is so absolutely wonderful. The saddest thing about it is it's not all that scholarship money is used, and I don't understand why. Do you?
It's getting students to fill out the application, and it's also having donors open up, and so it's not too restrictive.
Right.
Because, our favorite story at ACF, the scholarship for the female white non-smoking oncologist.
I thought it was an ornithologist.
Ornithologist. It starts with an O. Ornithologist. It's so restrictive. It can be really difficult to give out.
You just can't give those out. So,
Right.
But that's one of the benefits of working with a community foundation, so that a person who thinks that way, their minds can be opened up to what reality is in their giving. Because people need help with that, a lot of help with that.
Right.
But we were talking before the break about field of interest funds and how that leads to the joy of giving.
That leads to the joy of giving. So the joy of giving is our annual celebration of philanthropy in Yavapai County. That's the tagline I put to it.
Actually, that's a good tagline.
Yeah. But we recognize all of our grantees at the Joy of Giving, and then we select what we call our shining stars. Now, this year it's different because with 7 grant panelists or grant panels, that would take up a lot of time in our programming. So we reduced it to 3, highlighting ACF's 3 strategic focus areas. So we have Agape House of Prescott, featuring our housing focus. We have Gardens for Humanity, featuring our education and environment focus.
Oh, that's good.
We have an environment focus, but we continually have an education focus, but an environment focus. And then PUSD Education Foundation is our education focus, too.
Actually, that is a wonderful organization. I remember when it started,
Right.
and some of the wonderful community leaders who started that.
Yeah.
So these 3 shining stars got up and make a presentation. What happens?
First they get coached. First, they get coached by us on how to do basically their elevator speech, their presentation, because at the end of this process, we want those organizations to have a polished message that they could teach to anyone in their organization to give to anyone in our community.
That is really so important, because I can remember Tracy Horn and Leza Dandos sitting helping people polish their pitch, as it were.
Right. Exactly. And that's the piece of it. And the organizations appreciated so very much of being able to receive that professional coaching from us on that. And then at the Joy Giving, we also recognize, obviously, philanthropy. This year, we're recognizing a legacy philanthropist, which is Alan and Alice Hendrickson. They have given ACF of Yavapai County our largest bequest to date. And I'm not going to say the number because you'll have to find out at the Joy.
Exactly. That would be a great surprise.
And we're going to talk about the impact that gift is going to make for the next few years.
So is that your seventh field of interest?
That was our seventh field of interest. That was our seventh panel. And what we did with that seventh grant panel is we put all what we call larger organizations. So any organization that has $1 million or more in operations that fit within their guidelines. They gave us like 6 guidelines. So like it's wide open. We were able to filter them into that panel. And it's more comparison of apples to apples versus you have this $1 million, $5 million organization with a proposal going against, an organization that maybe have $100,000 budget.
Wow.
And it's really difficult for those larger organizations because
Absolutely.
we feel for these little bitty organizations. And then our other award we're giving out this year is a Business Philanthropist Award to Summit 4x4.
Oh, my goodness. Summit 4x4. Isn't Jason really involved with 4x4s? Or is that you?
Yeah, me too.
Oh, yeah.
You're talking about your best friend, Jason Thompson of Jason Thompson Handyman Services.
That's it. Very good.
Yeah.
And I believe it's your best desperate friend.
He's one of my desperate friends, yes. I have several.
So
Yeah.
4x4.
Summit 4x4, they've made it a part of their business to give back to community. They set up fundraisers for organizations. They do their own Jeep runs.
Oh.
I want to say they host or they're a part of the Jeep run for the canines.
Oh, that's
For the
really good.
Prescott
And
Canines.
didn't they do a breast cancer one too?
They do. They're quite involved with YRMC's Breast Cancer Center as well.
That is absolutely wonderful because there are a lot of businesses in our community who care deeply about philanthropy. Fan contracting comes to mind because they won a grant from ACF
Years
for
ago. Yeah.
their employee giving. So
Yes.
we are a philanthropic business community. And we'll come right back after this break. Chamberlain in for Leza down us. Oh my gosh. On the News 103.5 KYCA. My guest today is Leza Sahady. Lots of L's in my life today. So Leza and I are talking about the Arizona Community Foundation of Yavapai County. I would like to have you talk a little in our end time together about how easy it is to leave a legacy. And One of the things that comes to my mind is an instrument we use that people can remember community while getting an income during their lifetime. Tell us about that.
Right. Planned giving is one of my favorite things to do.
Mine too.
I absolutely love it. Legacy gifts, planned gifts, whatever you want to call it. But it's remembering community past your lifetime. And it's very, very easy to do that with us. You might be working with your attorney or a financial advisor. You spend 15 minutes with me filling out a form and telling me what you want to do. Now, sometimes I understand it takes a while to figure out what exactly you want to do, what type of fund you want to open. The other instrument that Carol's talking about that we have is called a charitable gift annuity.
Love these.
CGA for short, but charitable gift annuity, where you put a certain amount of money in. Now, this one does take a minimum of $50,000 because typically half of what you put into it is what's going to go to community after your lifetime. And so based on your age, how much you're putting in there, your tax bracket is going to determine what your annual income is out of this charitable gift annuity. It is income for the remainder of your life at that set rate. Now, once it's set, it is set. We can't change it after that. But they're so easy. They're so easy to set up. You can actually set one up out of your IRA now. You have a one-time opportunity to take money out of your IRA account, put it into a charitable gift annuity.
Up to how much?
I think it's up to $53,000 or $54,000 now.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Actually, it's a really interesting thing because when we talk about getting an income for life, that's a big deal because I can remember a wonderful woman who I grew so close to who was up in age. I mean,
Yes, she
she
was.
was 90 and decided she would like to leave a charitable gift annuity to community, but she also needed some income. So at her age, at that amount, she was getting a 9% return on her money. So she was being paid 9% for, I can't remember how much she opened it for, which was a sizable amount to add to her income on a monthly basis,
Absolutely.
on a quarterly basis.
On a quarterly basis. And you can determine, do you want quarterly payments? Do you want semi-annual? Do you want an annual payment?
You can even defer them. If
You can defer them. If you're younger, let's say you're in your early 60s, you don't want to set up a charitable gift annuity yet, but you want to defer that. So defer it a few years. Let it build for you, and then you have a higher amount coming out to you. They're really nice. They're a nice vehicle. We have several donors who have opened 2-3 charitable gift annuities.
I absolutely love this because it really is like not a poor man, it's something for me. Instead of a charitable remainder trust, which is a big old instrument that saves a lot for people, it's another way of giving to community and taking care of your assets during the lifetime. But it's so much easier and less expensive to do a charitable gift annuity than a CRT.
It is. It absolutely is. And you're a legacy donor with us. Once you open that charitable gift annuity, you're considered a legacy donor with us. And we go on from there of recognizing you, honoring you. You're part of an elite group, I like to say. Although I'll tell you, our Legacy Society in Yavapai County has grown to 100.
Oh, it's wonderful. Ken and I are members of the Legacy Group because we believe in community. We believe in the Community Foundation. So we are going to be leaving gifts beyond our lifetime as well.
You just need to tell me what you want to do.
We have told you what we want to do. But anyway, it has been a great thing for us. But not only do you rest more comfortably after you have figured out your estate plan, if I'm not mistaken, it increases your lifespan by 10 years.
It does.
If you, in fact, have left a charitable gift annuity to the Arizona Community Foundation of Yavapai County. We only have a few seconds left. Thank you for coming in on your day off. But how can people get in touch with you, Leza Sahady?
Just give me a call at 928-583-7815.
One more time.
928 583-7815.
It has been so good seeing you again
too.
and talking about something that is near and dear to my life, and I hope to yours. Thanks for listening. See you tomorrow.